I just wanted to do a little video about aftermarket parts and sometimes the problems that we have. You know, like over here in Canada, we don't know what things are going to be like until we actually get them here. And sometimes when they get here, well, they're not really what you wanted. And sometimes aftermarket parts, or jobber parts as we call them in North America, are not really what they're cracked up to be. However, for this job, we fitted a set of silicone hoses for the cooling system. It already has a set for the intercoolers and stuff like this, turbo pipes. But these, I was really impressed with these because the way that the pipe now goes underneath this hose, supported by your top radiator hose, whereas before it used to go on this bracket here and it always used to catch on the top pulley. You know, when it get a bit old, it used to sag down. Hey, it only took them 23 years to work that out. Now, these are a bit pricey, I must admit. But I think they're worth it because providing they don't get cut or chaffed, then they're going to last a long time. Now I thought that originally these pieces were a one-piece hose, but I can see there's a joint down here, but they are metal and they've got proper clips on. Now let's have a look at a genuine 300 TDI hose. This is the one that came off. And they used to, in the old days, they used to be made by Dunlop. And this was all moulded and it's all nicely jointed, but of course that was about 23 years ago and they all got old. So what they did was they started to put these plastic joints in. Now I've never really been a great fan of plastic joints. And look, every time there's a hose connection there is a weak spot. Alright, so we've seen that before. And like I said, look at the top hose. It's been protected so many times. You know, it had to go, and they're all sort of soft now. Look at that, they've had it, you know, kaput. But one thing I wanted to show you was this. On this particular vehicle, somebody at some point had put this hose on, right? Now I've never seen one before, but these things you can buy in our local parts shop. And it allows you to put a straight hose through here, and by bending it, this metal brace at the back will support the hose through a bend. What a great idea if you have to put a tight bend on. Now that obviously was there, right? What I didn't see until I took it off, and I had to cut it off because I couldn't get it off. Oops. You see the pipe had kinked underneath. It was almost shut off completely. So that wasn't a very good idea, and I was wondering if that's contributed to some heating problems that we've had. This car's been losing water and we don't know where it's going to. So today I'm going to run it all day, get it up to temperature, pressure test it and see if we can find that out. So that was one problem solved. I think I had a quick look on Paddock's website and I think these were about £160 including VAT. Obviously a bit cheaper if you get them overseas, but there again you still got tax to pay. So let's go now and have a look at the bench, and show you another problem with aftermarket parts that I had on this job, and it's starting to get really annoying. So just ignore my bench at the moment because I'm making a batch of clutch arms up. It's in a bit of a mess. This is a power steering hose for a left-hand drive 300 TDI. Now, I haven't checked out who actually makes this yet, but when I was fitting this fitting into the top of the power steering box, I had a hell of a time trying to get this started and trying to get the thread on, and I could only seem to get it on one complete turn. Now, these boxes can put out 1000 psi when they're on a good day, like the pumps. So, one thread into cast iron isn't very good at all. So, not very good quality. So, what we'll have a look at here, if I can get this cap off. There we go. This one here is off a V8. Right, this is off a V8. Now, same fitting. Now, this is an aftermarket part too, but this obviously is a lot better quality because at least they put a sticker on it and where it came from. Like I said, this is off a V8, so it's not quite the same. But notice the difference here. Look at the thread goes all the way to the bottom, and this one's got about 2 threads missing. I can't fit that. That's could be dangerous. So there's something to watch out for. What else have we seen in pumps and things like that? Well, the pump that we fitted. This is an original 300 TDI pump. It's I think whose name was it now? HA. I always thought they were Holden and Eaton, but maybe they're different now. But this is one that came off. This is a Chinese one. Now the one we fitted, well, the one I fitted, was a Bosch pump. Well, it was in a Bosch box, but it was actually a ZF. And this is a ZF pump off a V8. Now, unlike the earlier 300 TDIs, which has a flange on the bottom where you could turn this pipe round. Now, if anybody observant will notice that the pipe's on the wrong way around because this came off my test bench. But on the pipe, on the pumps like this, that fitting is fastened into here and you can't turn it round. So, although the V8 one is exactly the same, the pipe comes out at a different angle, and I'm not sure if they're screwed in. I don't want to break it, but that was one of the problems. Another little problemette. Like I say, I've been doing my preparing up a load of clutch forks. Now I'm going to add a little bit of a video into this to show you what the difference was, because we got I got some aftermarket ones, and I also decided to buy an OEM one. You'll see the video now. Other thing, clutch forks. Now I know I keep banging on, I modify these clutch arms and clutch forks or whatever you want to call them, but just out of curiosity, I ordered a jobber one, and I also ordered OEM ones. OEM ones made in the UK, and cheaper ones made by Johnny Foreigner. Anyway, it seems to me that they're exactly the same, because the OEM ones comes with the bits and pieces that I supply in the kit. You know, the slippers and the clips. That's all well and good. So I know that this one was the OEM one, and it was marked made in the UK. Take a good look. Like Phil Collins, take a good look at my face. There's the OEM one. See? This is the one made by Johnny Foreigner. I would think you would agree that they're exactly the same. Now, there's nothing wrong with the quality, because I've been using these for about 15 years. Apart from I put my bush in here. But it just goes to show you, perhaps these little bits and pieces in here were made in the UK. Does that give it automatic right to be the whole thing's made in the UK and they say it's OEM? I don't think so. I just think they put in different things in different boxes. This came about when we were doing the 90 roll cage thing. It said it was OEM, made in the UK, but I don't think it was. Not for the price. Because I checked out Land Rover website, not website, but Land Rover part numbers, and I did put it in the comments below on the 90 bulkhead removal bar. So have a look in there, and I've given you the part numbers of the OEM stuff, and it worked out at about, oh, I don't know, I think about £300 or £400 for the OEM parts, if you bought them in the original parts, should I say, that you would buy from Land Rover. So for £120 for an aftermarket one, OEM supposed to be the same manufacturer, I don't think so. It worked, but I said to you before that there's some shonky welding, which I did correct. Now, so that's it. So you can see my sort of problems sometimes. My customers sometimes don't want to buy particularly genuine parts because they are extraordinarily expensive. But we do expect OEM parts to be OEM parts, original equipment manufacturers. And sometimes they're not. Now the silicone hoses that we just looked at outside, they were an aftermarket, but they weren't OEM, but they were better. So, isn't it difficult trying to decide what to fit? It's a nightmare for me because I'm supposed to know these things, but obviously when we get things like this wasn't OEM, this was just aftermarket, but you know, there was no OEM equivalent, you know, like this one was. It's really getting frustrated now, because the market seems to be flooded with parts that are, well, substandard, and sometimes, like this, could be downright dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So keep your eye open for that.